Hello, fellas and ladies. I have a review to do, but first off, I did want to acknowledge the horrific passing last night of Rob Reiner and his wife Michelle. It was a shock to most of us, especially given the circumstances of their deaths being like a homicide. I'm not always moved by celebrity deaths because there's always going to be some distance there, but Rob Reiner is, in my view, a quintessential figure of film and culture who's run from Stand By Me in 1986 to like A Few Good Men in 1992 was historic. Stand By Me, The Princess Bride, When Harry Met Sally, Misery, A Few Good Men, all outstanding films. And then The American President in 1995. And as a fun little like tidbit, Reiner began his career with This Is Spinal Tap in 1984, and this year he released the sequel Spinal Tap 2, The End Continues, a film I had issues with, but in many ways a nice bookend to a wonderful career. Sincere condolences to the family and their friends at this time for, whatever that's worth. All right, now, memes. In the brink of Oscar season, every year we get a film that seems on paper to be an Oscar juggernaut. Perhaps in 2005 they would have been. And thankfully film taste has evolved. It's evolved enough where like a film like this can just be ignored as just an aside, but I thought it'd be fun to review it. This year that movie is Song Sung Blue, directed by Craig Brewer and starring Hugh Jackman and Kate Hudson. This is a true story about a pair of performers who do musician impersonations, who meet each other and fall in love off of their shared love of exciting an audience. How ironic given the film. The two eventually start a Neil Diamond cover band called Lightning and Thunder, and as they see success, tragedy beholds them. Will they be able to hold on to the dream as they begin to wonder? Yeah, look, this movie definitely takes some turns that isn't expected, like just some stuff that happened in real life to these two. There is definitely real life tragedy in this story that I'm not gonna, ignore, but this is some manipulative shit, man. Come on. Quick Google search just saw that like half of this stuff didn't happen. And Jim Belushi's there. What? You know you're in trouble when you find yourself in a position to having to, cast Jim Belushi. The main thing you're going to hear is the performances from Hugh Jackman and Kate Hudson. They are great. I'm not going to sit here and pretend they aren't. I definitely have my issues with them. Like, a lot of the film is very much on Hugh Jackman, which he is good. Like, he's a good performer, although I am starting to realize that he just doesn't read scripts. He does overham it a few times, but it's like, all right, yeah, the whole movie is just trying to get people Oscars, but he is good. I'm not gonna sit here and pretend he isn't. You have definitely heard the praise about Kate Hudson, and she is very good. She definitely goes through some of the more emotional, stakes of the film. She definitely goes through some shit in this movie. That said, I can't help but share the sentiment that other people have had, that the overhypedness about Hudson feels faux. I do feel like they were tipped off a little bit by Focus to, over-exaggerate her performance, because she is very good. She definitely does a lot of what she is supposed to do well, but I don't know, when I hear best performance for her career, I'm like, no, I think we're just bored. I'm not gonna say this is a bad performance, but if you're going in expecting this behemoth, I just think you're not getting it. She has her moments, don't get me wrong, where she is really good, but I don't know, overhyped in my opinion. This movie can definitely be described as a film that splits itself into two distinct halves. The first half is the rise. You know how these go. They meet each other, they fall in love, their chemistry is real. I do buy the relationship between these two people. I am interested in the idea of them connecting through their shared love of just entertaining people, of being a performer. It is compelling. And these two are, they're talented. They can sing. They have good singing voices, both of them. And the first half is definitely all right, this is where your crowd pleaser comes in. It's a nice little, very cornball in a bad way, but easy to fall for. Oh wow, they did it. They beat the odds. And there's a lot of fluff in this movie for sure, but in almost a compelling way. There's some tonal shifts in the first half, and it's okay, this is weird. I don't really understand what the tone they're going for is. There's some shots I'm this is just Elvis, and that movie sucks. And Jim Belushi's there, he's just there. There's some things about the first half that I'm this isn't quite clicking. There's some storylines that don't fully feel flushed out. Hugh Jackman's character's obsession with oh, it can't all be Sweet Caroline, and then it is all Sweet Caroline. It's okay, that feels feels backhanded. Also, there's like a storyline with their two daughters, like Hudson and Jackman both have like, not adult daughters, but definitely older daughters. And they seem to have a relationship that begins to form, and it's a little confusing. They don't fully flesh that out. It's just underwhelming and odd. Also, the youngest son just doesn't age. The movie is supposed to take place over like years, and he just stays the same age the entire time. It's just a little funny. And Jim Belushi is there. Back half is when the tragedy starts to like come in, and I gotta say, obviously these things actually happened. But when these certain things happen, these certain tragedies happen, I won't give away, but when they do happen, I kind of laughed. It's the way that they were done that it's kind of funny. There is a scene where Hugh Jackman falls, and I fucking burst out laughing, and that was supposed to be the big tragic scene. It's a tonal mishmash and trying to be stressful, and like there's a scene that's like about like Kate Hudson's character has like a bit of an episode, and that whole sequence, Hudson was good in that sequence, but that whole sequence just felt like, what is exactly the tone we're going for here? Because I get you're trying to do rise, fall, rise again. Like, that's clear as day, and it ends in the position you pretty much expect it to. And I can forgive it for wanting to be a nice little crowd pleaser, but amongst everything, this movie's just forgettable. It's just a bore. I hate calling movies boring because I think it kind of diminishes, like, what the film may have going for it. And I also think just calling film boring, it feels like a bit of a skill issue. However, with this movie, there's just nothing going on with its presentation that makes anything like stand out. You got these performances that, like, again, I can see why one would click with it, but narratively and stylistically, Craig Brewer, I'm like, he just wants an Oscar. Like, I just feel like he just wants an Oscar, and to get his performance an Oscar. It's just an interesting story when all is said and done. Like, oh, okay, these two fell in love and formed a cover band. Like, it's ridiculous. It doesn't judge these characters. I respect that. And I like the moments of, like, suburbia much more than, like, these larger-than-life moments where it's like, oh my god, they're forming in front of a big crowd. It's like, okay, but, like, what about who these people are as humans? We get that they love entertaining and each other, and I buy their love entirely, but I want to know a little more. And granted, it's not like an Elvis situation where it's like, well, we don't know who these people are. You know, like, we know who Elvis Presley is. We don't know who these two are. So I get why they want to focus a little more on their success and their tragedy, but it has to be a good balance, and this movie doesn't really strike that. And whenever they do, it's, like, pretty meaningless. I can forgive this movie for being wanting to be a nice little crowd pleaser, but it was so void of substance. Like, I just couldn't get enough connection to this film to really thrive at any moment. It's a perfectly, like, harmless movie when it all said and done, but, like, it's just kind of there. Like I forget about this movie pretty quickly. Like, I'd rather watch a piece of shit than something that I forgot about, because a piece of shit I can, like, you know, have fun with. A movie that, like, is just mid is, to me, the worst crime you can commit, because then I feels like I just wasted 2 hours of my life, and this just felt like that. It's just a meaningless, like, here's some music and some solid performances. And here is also Jim Belushi. Sung Sung Blue will easily go down as one of 2025's easiest to forget films. It truly went into my ear and left the other as quick as it entered, and while nothing about it is inherently offensive in how bad it is, Hugh Jackman and Kate Hudson doing their damnedest to keep this afloat is admirable, but they don't succeed, and the experience is just forgettable and honestly boring as hell. And I'm giving it 4.5 Jim Belushis out of 10. Yeah, that's what I got for you. This movie's pretty bland, and I don't think Hudson's getting an Oscar nomination for this. Like, I watched this movie, and I was like, just no. Alright, that's all I got for you. Let's grab a chair. Bye-bye.